She's right about to say something hilarious.
Need to be Nuremberg-style trials. I mean, this is unbelievable. You know, I gotta say, there's more. I'm gonna read it in just a second, but Alex Jones has been like looking better, if that makes any sense, like looking a little healthier. And I gotta go.
So speaking of right-wing shows and Alex Jones' ecosystem, as people know, I worked at the Young Turks. I'm making a documentary about unionizing the Young Turks called Tell the Truth, Cenk. There's a description, a website, tellthetruthcenk.com. I'm going to clip this, Dan. That's why I started over. Sure. Here with Knowledge Fights Dan Friesen. We've been talking about...
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir. It's just an awkward thing.
So good to be here.
You've been wonderful. Amazing chat. But we're going to look at the Young Turks, who has had their own long storied career. My film is about misinformation and right-wing media ecosystems, kind of, at least as well as the labor portion of the story and how difficult it is for people without power to get justice for things that are wrong, and et cetera, et cetera. Themes that overlap between your show and my project and stuff. But there was an incident, and we get into this in a little bit, where you and I, and Dan, you and I talked about this on a previous appearance of yours on my show here, link in the description, where Alex Jones invaded the Young Turks set at the 2016, I think it was the Republican National Convention. So they had
Jimmy Dore spit in his mouth, famously.
Jimmy Dore spat in Alex's mouth, a mouthful of tea, although Jimmy would describe it as a funny spit take. Alex was so funny he just couldn't hold it in.
Yeah, that's fun. So they've made peace since.
Well, yeah. Fast forward to about 2 or 3 years ago, 2022, 2023 or so, and Alex appeared on the Jimmy Dore show, and they talked about it. And Jimmy, you're the only two men whose spit I've had in my mouth. And then he tells a story about sharing a joint with Willie Nelson.
Welcome to the show, Alex Jones.
Wow, Jimmy, I've been a big fan of you for a long time, and you're one of the only men whose spit I've had in my mouth. So I just want to say that I've also had Willie Nelson spit in my mouth.
Oh, okay.
But my mouth was open when you spit at me like a spitting cobra and went right in my mouth. So
Christ.
You and Willie Nelson have both been in my mouth.
No, I stand by.
You put that on your headstone?
I put that on my headstone, but I stand by that you were being funny, because you were being funny. You said to Jake Uygur, "I'm trying to be nice," and that was funny to me. And let's just show it. Here, I'll show it what happened. Here it is.
Oh, no, Jake, relax. Hold on. We're against Saudi Arabia, you dumbass. We talk about that all the time. We talk about that all the time. Shit. What do you think? The lizard people are in charge? No. Is that what you think? Now you're pissed. Your ass. Is that what you think? You're the anti-liberal and you're pissed. Bullshit. We're being nice here. You know what I care about? I care about the American people. Good. You're the one putting it out. Anybody hurt? I'm being nice. I'm not right. Everybody get the fuck off my stage. Get the fuck off my stage.
Okay, so there it was, the iced tea incident, and the ironic thing is that I thought this was going to blow up into a huge fist fight, because Cenk Uygur was out of his mind, and you had baited him correctly and professionally, and you got exactly. I couldn't believe he was handling it that way.
He's a brawler,
and he likes
Cenk's a brawler.
He likes to say he's a brawler. But it did diffuse almost immediately after that. Like everybody kind of walked away from that.
Hey, it's Hank from the editing dungeon. So that was December of 2023. But Alex and Jimmy got together again in March of 2026, and we're going to take a look at that momentarily. The spitting came up, and they talk about the overall incident in which Alex barged onto the Young Turks set. As you'll see in about a half hour, Dan and I take a much closer look at that, so this is pretty good context for that, which is why I'm including it. Just a quick thanks for everybody for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, smash bells, destroy buttons, do all the things. And so here we go, 2026, Jimmy and Alex.
Jimmy Dore. There's only 2 men's saliva have ever been in my mouth.
Oh, my God.
And I have had Jimmy Dore's saliva in my mouth, okay? I'm serious. We're going to tell that story in a minute. It was quite the time in Vegas in that hotel room. No, actually, he spit in my mouth in public. My mouth was open when he spit at me right in my mouth. But I forgive him. It's hilarious. We're going to go to Jimmy in a minute. He is handsome, though. Maybe I've never kind of gone that way, but was it a come on? So seriously, we'll talk about Trump, all the insanity, World War III in a moment.
It is true, and it's not a weird factoid I just make up. So it's so funny. It's something I got to tell. I've had 2 men spit in my mouth. Okay, and I've had Jimmy Dore at the 2016 RNC when I crashed the Young Turks. He spit iced tea like a spitting cobra, and I'm right in my mouth. And we're like, oh, that's iced tea. So I've had, that's just true. And Willie Nelson. Now, with Willie Nelson, just hung out with him a lot, played chess with him, hang out. He would smoke these big marijuana volcanoes. I'm not a big marijuana guy, but I smoke marijuana with him. And he sits there, and he's got a ball, and he sucks on it like he's an astronaut and in the right stuff, how long he can do it. He goes, he hands it to you, and there's spit dripping off. And it's Willie Nelson, so you go ahead and do it. So, hey, you're in quite the elite club. I've had plenty of women's saliva in my mouth, 2 or 3 probably. The point is, though, Jimmy Dore, this is kind of gay. I mean, you've literally like a frog grabbing a bug, a bullfrog grabbing a bug with its tongue. Were you intending to hit me right in the mouth with your spit?
No, I wasn't intending to hit you right in the mouth. I don't know what I was intending to do. I was trying to diffuse the situation, and I thought maybe you would go run for a towel and try to get out of there. But it was chaos, and there was no security, and I was afraid things were going to keep escalating, and nobody wanted that. And I didn't really know much about you at that time. And, since I do, and I'm impressed with, the prescience you had around 9/11 and all that kind of stuff, but especially that. So,
Well, so I think it's funny. I think it's funny, but you're in quite an elite club, though.
I'm honored to be in that club. And I'm sorry that that's how I had to get into the club.
And how moist the joint was. Do you like a moist joint, Dan, or do you prefer a dry when you share one with someone? Nevertheless, Alex Jones recently came out with an anti-Trump statement about the 25th Amendment, I think, or impeaching him or something like that. And since the Young Turks has taken their own output as a ostensibly progressive entity, they don't really use this phrase much anymore. The home of progressives. Cenk might still refer to themselves as progressives because he sort of tries
the verbo of progressives.
What is verbo? You'll have to fill me in.
It's like an off-brand Airbnb.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Timu, I would have understood. I hear that a lot. But thanks for teaching me a new internet meme. You're doing good work. So they wanted to cover this, and Cenk and Anna have both been very active on right-wing media spaces. They've been allying with Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene, largely around the issue of Israel and the genocide and everything else there. But this whole process, which I've been watching very closely in the circles I kind of run in on the internet, people were very much paying attention to the right-wing shift that the Young Turks had been undergoing. First, Anna seemed to be making the turn, and then as the 2024 election wound up being in favor of Trump, Cenk went like full tilt, kissing up to Elon Musk, kissing up to Donald Trump, or, saying basically, the establishment has been defeated in kind of celebrating the Trump victory. Got into a famously contentious fight with Francesca Fiorentini, one of the former hosts of TYT, going over all this. So there's been a lot of sturm and drang about the Young Turks shift. And I thought this one jumped out at me because of their history of contentious beef with TYT or with Alex Jones. And they're both, I don't know if the word pioneer offers them too much credibility, but they both have been early to the video, TV show, talk show, internet distribution type of things, which I get. Anyway, long way to say we're going to just watch Young Turks cover Alex Jones's recent shift against Trump. Here we go.
Alex Jones has just announced that he believes President Donald Trump should be impeached over the Iran war. Now, this was a lengthy rant that he posted on X. This just broke, so we didn't have enough time to grab the video, but I'm going to read exactly what he said in it. So this is something he put out to his nearly 4 million followers, and he accused Trump of trying to bring back.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
Why can't she play it? That's crazy.
I don't know. They have some.
I don't know.
There's some copyright stuff with TYT has to be a bit more careful. They're higher profile.
Alex would not care at all.
Yeah.
But I find it strange that she's like, you know what I think it is? It might be sane washing. Like, she's like, if I can read what he says, I can defend this better than showing you a video of this like lunatic.
That's very much probable, but I will, in their defense, this did break during this episode.
That's getting you hammered anyway.
Yeah, it's total beta energy. We don't want that. Anyway, we got to take a break. When we come back, a shocking story involving a declaration by Alex Jones, of all people. The story just broke. I really want to share it with you all, so come right back.
So they might not have had the video available. Not that they don't have producers.
If it's
there.
on Twitter, then they can just play it from like Alex has a very, very strong public position that anybody can use his stuff for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he built his career on the idea that you could go get his tapes, make copies of them, and give them out to people. He does not enforce a copyright on anything.
Okay.
And so, like, the idea that Anna would have any kind of ambiguity around that, it seems strange to me.
Well, I'm persuaded by the sane-washing case you're making. I'm just steel-manning or just presenting a possible...
That's fair.
Yeah, just to be really fair. And I'm making a documentary about how these people lied about me and my friends. So, like, I'm not incentivized to, like, hide that or protect them in any sense. But I do look out for not wanting to seem like my bias is always front. You know, I don't want... I resist that actively.
And I think that's a smart and fair thing to do.
Yeah.
And I think that making a live show and with there's things that are breaking is a challenging thing to do. And I think that there's a lot more that goes into it than people realize. But if she's covering the story at all, if she's reading what he said, that's really not that different in a breaking scenario than just playing his video.
Yeah.
So like, I think it feels to me like a choice, but I also understand the steel man approach, and I'm not gonna fight it. I think it could be either.
I've literally been in that scenario where it might be me they say get the video, put it on the thing because we need it on the background, and send it into the system. Like, I was a video editor there while they did live stuff, and I used to edit the show as well as other stuff, which is why I felt I deserved benefits for working there while I worked full time, while Cenk had me classified as a part-time worker. And then
also fair.
And we started a union to stop it. And then Cenk told his audience that his political foes started the union to hurt his run for Congress.
But back then, IATSE was a union that was supporting Christy Smith in that race. And they were actually the main union that were knocking on doors, etc. And then right in the middle of that campaign, at its most heated moment, we were about to have a debate finally with Christy Smith. This story popped up that TYT was going to be unionized, and I never heard of it. And I thought that they were, that it was people were lying, right?
And it's all entertainingly and painstakingly detailed in my documentary that I'm working on. Oh God, I got to get it out though. This baby is just eating my womb from the inside out. I need to finish this film and move on.
I was gonna say link in the comments, but not quite yet. Get that link in the comments.
Well, you can watch 84 minutes of it right now, but it's still going to be a big slog to finish it up. Anyway, okay. So but there is a choice to do the story at all, and it definitely indicates
it's an insane choice.
It very much
a stupid choice.
Resonates with their project of kind of sane washing. I like that term of appealing to audiences on the right. Cenk has been dabbling in 9/11 trutherism, vaccine skepticism. The Fauci, they did a whole round cycle about Fauci over the last week with gain of function research, et cetera, that was going on in the news cycle.
Sweet.
On top of like lopping off pieces of their left, as Anna described it on a show, purging psychopaths from her audience.
I had to make a decision, and the decision was, okay, so for X number of years, might be 1, might be 2, might be 3, I'm going to have to go through a lot of pain to purge these psychopaths from our audience. And the pain isn't just the harassment directed at me. It's also the loss of revenue, hurting the show, whatever.
In order to, unburden themselves of the Puritanists that were plaguing them on the left that were in their audience that they had built for over, around 20 years. So
I think that the thing that's kind of unfortunate about that is that there's probably some truth to that. And that there is an element of their audience that probably was like an annoying counterproductive purity testing kind of like thing. But what they're alienating and trying to move away from isn't that. It's a much broader part of their audience. So it's still it's fundamentally dishonest, but there's probably like a way that she can feel like that's what she's doing.
I think there's absolutely a case for over purification, to use a word I just made up, or a term, on all movements to, you know, be kind of commanded by people that are maybe functioning on a different level of priorities in terms of what should be important or not. Definitely. But the way that they were gaining access to right-wing spaces, like the most infamous one was when Cenk appeared on the Charlie Kirk's TPUSA convention thing in December 2024.
So, Cenk, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for that warm welcome. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. I'm proud to represent the left flank of the populist movement, and I think we need both flanks, so I'm happy to have this conversation. I do have to give you guys credit for a revolution well done. And what I mean by that is not a revolution against the Democratic Party or the left or the country, but a revolution against the establishment. So
let's do that here. What do you guys think of Mitch McConnell?
All right. Yes, I love that. So look, for my left-wing friends that are watching out there, they just booed Mitch McConnell. That's a great thing, okay? And let's do one more. What do you guys think about Dick Cheney? On the right, you guys do a great job of coalescing. Okay, so you do a couple of things well. You work together well, and you're more welcoming, if I'm being honest.
We're glad Cenk's here, right, everybody?
And a lot of people on the left know this as well. If you agree with MAGA 5%, the answer you get is welcome, right? Come join us, right? On the left, if you disagree 5%, they go, get out of here, you're a right-winger, you're a fascist, right? But if you push enough people out and you guys welcome enough people in, eventually you win the popular vote. That's what I warned them about, and that's what happened, right? So, look, I propose simple rules. The 3 rules of the internet. Rule number 1, when we disagree, we fight. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Now, rule number 2 is afterwards we must have a beer together, okay? And rule number 3 is, for God's sake, when we agree, let's unite. Yeah, I'm trying to remind the left of who we are, because the left is supposed to be for freedom of speech. The left needs freedom. If you're gay or you're trans or you're Muslim or you're someone that was otherized at some point in your life, you need freedom more than anyone else does. You need equality more than anyone else does. You need justice more than anyone else does. So if you want those things, you've got to reciprocate. So you've got to not, I want you guys to not assume that we hate you or that we're evil or that we're bad. But if we're going to do that, the left wing has to do the same.
And then that's what spurred a huge round of like people from the left, and including like Mark Lamont Hill from Night School, who's like, you know, his show is called Night School on YouTube. Who had Cenk on, and Cenk spent like an hour defending white supremacists, how it's not a good idea to call them that.
If you are a white supremacist in this country, that's your tribe. That's where you go. You don't go anywhere else. Everybody in that room is not a white supremacist, but every white supremacist is probably in that part, is in that room, if you get metaphorically speaking. You know, that is home for them. That is a safe space for them. Charlie Kirk, who's someone you shared the stage with, would you agree that Charlie Kirk is a white supremacist?
I would certainly agree that he has said very harmful things about.
No, but let's not do the mainstream media thing. Do you believe he's a white supremacist?
No.
Tell me why.
Because when you say white supremacist, you mean someone who has ingrained thoughts that lead to maintaining structural racism in this country, and from time to time literally says things that are racist that maintain that structure. When you say white supremacists, they think you mean that they go home and put on a hood and look.
Yeah, but I'm not asking you but I'm not asking you if Charlie Kirk meets his own definition of white supremacy. You just very articulately laid out what a white supremacist actually is, and based on what a white supremacist actually is, do you think he's a white supremacist?
I don't think it's helpful to use that word. I'm not going to use it, that phrase. I think we need to get past that kind of phrasing, because that just puts up a giant wall between us.
Between us and the white supremacists.
How are we going to break it down, Mark? Because if we just call them names, it's not going to work. It hasn't worked. I've tried it a million times.
No. But Jake, that's disingenuous. Calling someone who's white supremacist or Islamophobic, that thing, to reduce that to name calling is unfair to the person who's being harmed.
No, I'm not saying it's name calling and I hate you and blah blah. And you're
no, but you just said to call them names. We're not calling them names. We're identifying them by what they are.
Yeah, but Mark, tons of folks on the right wing are Islamophobic, but me going and calling them Islamophobic is not helpful. So that's why I'm saying. You're arguing a point that I'm not making. That's a straw man. I've never suggested in this conversation that we should be going into rooms and calling these people what they are. That has nothing to do with what I was talking about. That's a straw man. What I was talking about was the fact that you're in the room with people who look at the world that way, and what it means to be in the room with the people who look at the world that way. What I'm saying is that if we're walking into a room with people whose ideologies and beliefs are consistent with white supremacy, with Islamophobia, with anti-Semitism, etc., we have to at least question what the possibility is of reaching a political alliance if at the core they don't think we're humans. If at the core they don't think we deserve the same thing, regardless of what we call them. And so if we only focus on the tactic of how to engage a white supremacist, we lose sight of the fact that they're still white supremacists and that they don't want the same things we want, regardless of what they say. Now, Mark, this is a core disagreement. Even you saying, okay, they half the room is white supremacist, but Mark, so you're saying they believe in systemic, like they are part of a system that executes racism in the country. Yes, but we all kind of are. But so calling all Americans white supremacists is not helpful.
But again, Jake, you're holding on to a point that I'm not making. You keep debating the argument about whether or not we should call them white supremacists. Let me stipulate again. I'm not making the case about whether or not we should call them white supremacists. We don't have to engage that.
You're calling them internally white supremacists and saying, why are you going into a room with white supremacists?
That's the second straw man. My debate isn't whether or not we go in the room. It's how we go in the room, what rooms we go in, and what we do and what we say about the people in that room when we're in the room.
Okay, great. Let's have that conversation.
He consistently advocates positions that certainly strengthen white supremacy. He certainly advocates positions that strengthen anti-Black racism. He certainly advocates positions that advance Islamophobia, that push against women's reproductive rights, just based on the things that he has said and done. Would you agree with everything I just said?
Largely.
Okay. So the one thing a white supremacist hates being called is a white supremacist. The one thing that racists hate being called is a racist. And I think, and usually the people calling them racist or white supremacists are the people who are catching hell from them. And so I think it's sort of bizarre to police the language or to tell someone, for example, hey, that person that hates Muslims, it's not helpful for you to, that person that called you a towelhead, that person that called you a devil worshiper, that person that called you a pagan and a rapist, it's not helpful to call them Islamophobic. Oh, that person that called you a nigger, oh, no. It's not helpful for you to call them white supremacists. That feels paternalistic and almost is disrespectful to the people who are victimized by it. You may think it's unhelpful, but I actually don't think it's your place or anyone else's place. It's like it'd be like saying I don't think it's helpful to. It would be like me saying to women, I don't think it's helpful for you guys to call Donald Trump sexist or misogynistic. I don't think that's helpful, ladies. I mean, come on. No. You're not doing that.
Hold on, Mark.
That's not what you said. No, I'm calling you on a contradiction. Hold on.
No, hold on, Mark.
That's not what you said.
No, Mark.
You can backtrack, but that's not what you said. What you said was, I don't think it's helpful. I hear people doing this and it's not working. Let us try something different. Let us, not let me. Mark. When I hear you say it's unhelpful, I find that problematic as a person who's on the business end of the white supremacy. And what you just said was you weren't telling us that. You were only speaking for yourself. But then even in your rejoinder, in your response, you pointed out that you actually are saying to the people that it was unhelpful. This isn't about their right to say it, free speech, but you're telling them that it's unhelpful. And I'm saying telling Black people or telling women or telling Muslims or telling trans folk, hey, you have a right to say this. It's your experience. But I'm just telling you that's unhelpful. I'm just telling you, even in terms of strategically uniting folk, as a Black person and as a Muslim and as an whatever title you want to put on me, when I'm told that thing, for every right-wing person you potentially get, I'm telling you, you're going to lose a whole lot of us.
Okay. So, Mark, here's the thing.
That was the day before. He then went on the Francesca Fiorentini show, The Bituation Room, and lectured her about standing in front of vulnerable communities and
that all you want to do is break bread with them, that you want to debate with them, but afterward you want to go have a beer.
Yes, I do.
You want to have a beer with people who want to put people in mass deportation camps. They want to deport.
You think we're going to get put in camps? You sound all right. Anyway,
you think I sound crazy? They're starting with Chinese people. That's my fucking family, dog. Like, what are you talking about?
That's such an excuse. Okay, they're going to start with Muslims. They're going to start with my people. Okay, if they start at all. So stop hiding behind vulnerable communities.
I'm hiding behind vulnerable communities.
Yes, you are. You're using them as human
shields. I'm standing in front of vulnerable communities. James, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm in front of vulnerable communities. I'm the most endangered, Franny.
By tweeting at Elon Musk? Please don't help me. Come on, James. This is so sad. That's so sad.
So let's
and even longtime contributors who were editors like Hank. I remember Hank, and like the fact that, you know, he helped start the TYT union and now has obviously
nothing.
Okay, but I knew Hank was such a great guy, and Emma and Ben are such. I'm just saying. I'm telling you, these are. But okay, how I'm afraid, man. Like, I'm next. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. That I'm booted out of the castle.
And I'm going to take Francesca off the network entirely. So you won't see her on any of the TYT shows going forward.
They turned into this really contentious thing. But yeah, it's been they use their, can you believe how crazy the left is? That's the way they're gaining access to these right-wing spaces. And I don't even think there's something wrong with shifting your strategy and trying to grow an audience, and even saying we want to expand the breadth of our audience from the progressive side over here to the, you know, more centrists, more right wingers. We're going to try to persuade this and that. I don't think that's necessarily stupid. Or,
I also don't think there's anything wrong with changing your mind.
Agreed. Yeah.
I think that the shift that they would be making, if they were sincere about like, I'm changing my mind, I think it's bad. I think that's like incorrect, but like, if you're just straight up with it, then like, I don't think it's the kind of sneakiness of it that I feel is is shitty.
A lot of people made comparisons to Dave Rubin, Jimmy Dore doing the similar path.
Who they rightly mocked.
Yeah. Who both came from the Young Turks. And I worked with very closely with Jimmy for a long time. So, okay, more of this. We're going to end about 3 minutes into this, but we'll stop and talk because there's a couple points I wanted to get to. So I just jumped back and we're going to get more of the statement she was talking about from Alex.
He put out to his nearly 4 million followers, and he accused Trump of trying to bring back the national draft ahead of a full-scale ground invasion into Iran. He went on to say that Trump will use total war to take our freedoms, nationalize everything, and push us aside with artificial intelligence, total liability, immunity, and protection. Now, I'm going to read you verbatim what he said in making the argument or the case in favor of impeaching Donald Trump. And so I'm calling for it right now. 25th Amendment, impeachment, whatever needs to happen to get this front and center, to get control of our country. It's impeachable alone that the president's supporting the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, which of course includes that provision merging the US military with the terrorist IDF. I agree with Tucker Carlson and all of the people who voted against this, the mergers of the foreign military. It actually says it in Section 219, clear as day. Need to be Nuremberg-style trials. I mean, this is unbelievable.
So at least 60% of TYT airtime, at least the main show, is Israel stuff. Like, they're hyper-focused. Some whole episodes are. And they're righteous about it. I think there's some, you can quibble with some of the solutions and certainly some of the tactics, but they are in a pretty pitched fight, and they're on the right side. I mean, you know, and a lot of people from my circles criticize TYT for various things, but it's important to point out the stress that probably comes with battling, you know, Israeli operatives and getting into fights on Piers Morgan and having people threaten them and all kinds of scary stuff happens too. I feel a lot of compassion for anybody who has a high profile, not just even people I have issues with, nevertheless deserve to be safe and and shouldn't have to live with that kind of stress from that sort of thing. So I'll give them kudos for that fight. But it does inform their alliance that they're making with the Tucker Carlsons of the world, because that's a very important stitch that kind of weaves through it, is the presence of Tucker Carlson in a lot of this, gearing up for what I think is going to be a presidential run.
Yeah, like I agree, and I'm glad. Like, I think that everyone who shouldn't feel unsafe because of your position on opposition to what Israel has done. But I think when you're willing to make these kind of bedfellows, like, you're obviously not on, you don't care for the same reason as like a lot of other people do care. And I think that it's unfair to extend too much courtesy on that front. If Cenk is dabbling around with all of these other ideas that you're describing, then it seems pretty obvious to me that a lot of this is not motivated by a principle. It's motivated by this is selling right now. And unfortunately, Israel happens to be one of the most important issues that is happening right now. And it is also probably a prime driver of the attention economy. And maybe I'm cynical, but I would feel like if you're also getting into vaccine denial and all of these other right-wing coded issues simultaneously, then I would worry that possibly that was what we could attribute those positive positions or those good positions to.
Yeah.
Like, it just happens to be where you're following money along or audience along.
Yes, I agree with you. Just to correct, like, I wouldn't say they're outright like vaccine denialists or whatever, but sort of trafficking in affirming those sort of narratives while also arguing for using vaccines, I'd say. You know what I mean? Like adjacent-ish to that, sort of inching towards that one. They for instance, making Fauci a centerpiece of their coverage last week because they know that that's a major kind of siren song to the right-wing narratives around vaccines.
It's suspicious, and
but among many other things, or other examples, for sure.
But at the same time, it is good to be on the right side of that. And, I agree with that. But I also worry that sometimes, like, agreement is actually hiding a fundamental disagreement. Like
deception?
with Alex.
Yeah, go ahead.
With Alex, a lot of the time, he would be opposed to like bombings of Palestinians, and that looks like a place where we can agree and we can really be like, hey, you know what? Absolutely, this is unacceptable. But the reality is that the reason he didn't want these Palestinians bombed is because if we bomb them, they're just gonna come here. His reasoning for it was like, yeah, a genocide is actually impossible to fully do. If you could kill them all, great, do it.
Right.
But you can't. And it's just going to lead to more terrorism coming to the United States because he views all Muslims as terrorists.
Yeah.
And so, like, to me, there's the appearance of like something that could be an agreement, which is in opposition to genocide happening in Palestine. But it's not really an agreement. It is a disagreement.
Right.
If that makes sense. I worry that TYT may have some of the same, if not the exact same, some of those dynamics.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're more sophisticated than they let on in terms of how they understand media, in terms of how they understand the way YouTube algorithms function and such like that. So, the kind of language that enters the lexicon. Cenk started using the R word out of nowhere. And
hey, it's back.
Like added that, got called out for it, and then I just remember the super chat said, "Hey, you shouldn't use that word," and he acknowledged that he would stop using it. But then I've also heard him say, "I'm not supposed to say the R word," but he's acting like that. Okay,
wasn't it Anna who got into a big fight with people on Twitter about like using goy slop or something like that?
There was a few cycles about that. Yeah, I can't pull the There was
that to me is like a fundamental unseriousness.
The Goy are waking up, and
like that kind of shit. It's like, what the? Anyway,
that was more recent than the previous rounds about birthing person or bonus hole, which came up in terms of one of the larger salvos in their departure from their left-wing audience was to, trash trans people in order to gain access to right-wing spaces. Turns out, by the way, Dan, did you know that the right-wingers are very welcoming? They're more welcoming than the left. Oh, really?
Yeah.
When you're famous podcasters or a hot blonde lady, the right-winger is welcoming to you? Weird.
Let's see if that lasts. Let's see if that lasts.
Yeah. So backing up just a little bit here, because she's right about to say something hilarious.
Need to be Nuremberg-style trials. I mean, this is unbelievable. I gotta say, there's more. I'm gonna read it in just a second. But Alex Jones has been like looking better, if that makes any sense, like looking a little healthier. And
I gotta go. I gotta go.
He's healthy, Dan. Didn't you notice how hale and spry and young and nice, tight skin, good tan?
I want to be clear. I didn't watch this in advance, so I don't know where any of this is going, but that's exactly like, oh, that's the tone we're doing here. That's kind of where I felt like this was going. Like, fuck off. Fuck off. You know who Alex Jones is. Like, you're on the Young Turks. Why are you taking anything he says seriously?
Right.
This is, and like, if she was a sincere actor covering this, she would know that, number one, Alex doesn't believe in Nuremberg trials because he hates international law and thinks it's globalism. So him calling for international Nuremberg style things about this is inherently just contradictory and should indicate that this is nonsense.
Right.
And if she had any familiarity with the subject matter beforehand, she would know that he constantly tries to scare his audience by talking about how they're bringing back the draft. It's a tool and a storyline that he uses all the time. So pretending this is breaking news that Alex tweeted that Trump is trying to bring back the draft, it's like, okay, all you're revealing is a unfamiliarity with the subject that you're covering, and it's a guy who what his shtick is. Like, this is dumb. This is really stupid.
Right. Yeah. It's one thing to say, hey, this Trump stuff is getting so out of hand that even Alex Jones, that maniac, is calling for this stuff. And we know he's probably not sincere because he is who he is. You could point that out. I don't think it's necessarily like unremarkable to point out that like big figures on the right are pointing out or calling for things. That's, I think, given the options available and the levers of power that are available to people trying to stop a genocide, why not try for any angle you can? But when you do a kind of like a breaking news, like, oh my God, emergency, we got to like shift our show today to report on this message. And then your first analysis is, hey, isn't he looking pretty good? He's looking real healthy, isn't he?
A couple things. One, I don't think that it really is that helpful to be like, well, even he gets it. If your person that you're talking about is a fucking lunatic that shouldn't be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Like, that really doesn't help us get anywhere closer to other people accepting it and getting the point. Second thing, yeah, Alex is looking better. It's because he looked like shit before. But also, like, who cares? He does look, he looks healthier. He looked like he was going to fucking straight up die for a number of years. And like, he at least looks alive now.
He's a little thinner. Is that what we're noticing? Is it Ozempic stuff?
Maybe.
Mainly?
I don't
Probably.
know.
Not that it's our okay. Let's continue.
I think he's also just accepted that he's a bald man and he looks better bald.
Oh,
and that his beard looked like shit. I think he looks probably better with his face shape and a goatee.
Sure.
Like, I think he might have gotten that eventually.
Yeah, having a beard and a bald is usually the limit.
It's hard.
The choice you got. Until your alopecia kicks in and you have some sort of stress-induced body hair loss, which I have. I'm even losing the hair on the sides here, but I still have hair like the rest of me. It's kind of it's
you get all the upsides.
It sucks. going bald twice. I wasn't planning on the second round, nor the first. Okay, here's more.
I don't know. I just feel like he's been saying a few things lately. I don't agree with everything he says. Please don't.
Of course.
Please don't. Like, but let me be fair to him. He has been saying a few things, especially as it pertains to the surveillance state, as it pertains to our conflicts abroad, the wars that we've been engaging in, for endless support of Israel. He has been speaking out against that pretty consistently.
So, no, I'm going to note.
Thoughts? Keep going.
I mean, just like it's a foolish fucking thing to ever say that he's been speaking on something consistently. That's
right.
That's what I responded to there. It was like, nah, don't. You kind of have to not be aware of him or watch his show, or just know much about him to think like there's a consistency.
Yeah.
His character and the brand he wishes everyone would promote is a very consistent person, but he's all over the fucking place. And none of that stuff matters. Like the surveillance state doesn't matter if he feels like the white Christian heterosexual men are in charge of it. If it can be used as a tool of the groups that he feels a part of to oppress other people, he doesn't give a single fuck about it being used. He doesn't care about a police state. He doesn't care about any of that shit, except when it's possible that people who are of the class that he feels a part of could be a target of it. As long as Trump was like wielding all of the powers of the federal government in favor of straight white Christian men, Alex would have absolutely no problem with it. And for Anna or Cenk to have no idea about any of that, it shows a lack of familiarity with the subject that they shouldn't be commenting on, probably.
Very fair, absolutely. And you said earlier about people meaning what they say, and you said spiral of something. I even said it was a great phrase. I forgot it already.
Spiral of cynicism.
Cynicism, perfect. So hold on to those thoughts. Cenk is going to flatter Alex further.
Two things here. First, this is kind of amazing because we just had the 10-year anniversary of our fight, me and Alex Jones. But remember what that fight was about. It was at the RNC. It was the night that Donald Trump was giving his acceptance speech. And Alex Jones had come onto our set to make a case that Trump was amazing and great, and we were totally wrong.
Counterpoint. He didn't come onto the set to make that argument. He came on the set to steal attention. That was what Alex was doing.
Yes.
So
Indeed.
For Cenk to pretend otherwise is him willfully interacting with and accepting Alex's bullshit. Like there's no other way around it. For Cenk to pretend like he was there to make a counterpoint to what the Young Turks were talking about, go fuck yourself. You know that's not true.
Right. To make a and he's setting himself up for the point he's about to make after that. So he's a very effective, I'd say not effective, but he does it all the time. He's very well practiced at creating straw men. Cenk's logic only really works when he's surrounded by apparitions that he can easily bat away. That's why I've been documenting this thing, and it's in partly in the film, and I might even do another smaller mini doc about the right-wing turn. Where people he's arguing with are constantly going, I didn't say that. Why are you putting words in my mouth? I didn't say that, because he takes arguments, presents to them the easiest, most ridiculous case, and then he can easily knock that down. When you hold his arguments up to scrutiny, it's a whole different battle. You know,
well, because it is kind of interesting to imagine a world where Alex was trying to make a case for Trump 10 years ago.
Right.
And now here he is saying that Trump is wrong.
Yeah.
This allows Cenk to be able to say, like, hey, I've had character consistency through this whole thing. This is the guy who has come around to my side, as opposed to having to like really deal with the fact that Alex was there to cause a scene and maybe make some memes and exploit your audience and your desperation to also be involved in attention games.
Yeah.
And that's the character consistency that has continued and isn't really all that different 10 years later.
Definitely not. And we're going to take a look at it right now. Here it is. I was supposed to be here, by the way. I was in a very, very, very rough mental space that summer. I was working with Jimmy Dore. This is 2016. Jimmy and I had done some road stuff for the couple months prior with Bernie Sanders and other places. But I just didn't have it in me to go to this. I was in a dark. That was a bad year for me. Okay. So I would have been in this video if I had been there, because I would.
Crazy.
Jimmy would have hid behind me. So, but here's where Alex first approaches.
He wins white males in such overwhelming numbers that it overcomes every other demographic advantage Hillary has.
Come sit in your lap.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hey, Alex Jones, how you doing?
See you, man. You're looking sexy.
How about I come sit in your lap? That's his opening. So
yeah, but that's charm. That's Alex. That's what he thinks is charm.
Oh yeah. I was just like a I just heard that.
Alex does a lot of gay play.
No doubt. No doubt. But they were remarkably patient with him up to a point, which they shouldn't. They should have. Like it. You could. It's easy to.
You really never know when he has a gun, though, and I think in 2016 there would probably be like so little awareness of Alex that you might be scared of him. Like
Totally.
I think he had. He didn't seem like as much of a coward little titty baby as he does now.
And I don't fault Cenk for losing his cool later on in this. He totally should. This is like a sacred thing.
Security should have lost their shit.
Yeah.
It should have never happened.
Yeah,
This
right.
is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is Cenk's fault that Alex is that close.
It is Cenk's fault or not Cenk's fault?
Yes, it's a failure of boundaries. It's a failure of like if you had security.
Cenk
which
should
I
have
assume
security.
they do. I assume they do.
I don't know.
Alex wouldn't have been admitted to this space. Like it's a professional environment. There's a YouTube logo in the background.
Right. They're
not going to. This is corporate shit.
I think it's some sort of like Radio Row type scenario where there's different booths and it's kind of free flowing within a convention hall.
Yeah, and people can't just barge into other people's stuff like it's 80s wrestling.
Yeah.
Like that's not something that is allowed in a professional environment.
Yeah.
And the fact that Cenk did allow it to happen is indicative to me of his willingness to have a moment, let's say.
I would push back slightly. I would just say that maybe he was relying on norms because you wouldn't expect anybody to do this kind of BS that Alex does right now. But also,
I can accept that.
I could also argue that the RNC should have been providing the security for that kind of thing. But I hear you. I don't hold that on Cenk too much because he does try to kind of keep it under, de-escalate mostly at the beginning.
Hey, how's the revolution going? You guys starting the revolution?
We are indeed, Alex. The revolution is afoot. Welcome to the Young Turks.
Cenk does kind of let Alex sort of command the stage, though. That's also sort of the kind of, peacock. Which bird runs this pond? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's why Jimmy spit on him.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, and then they go to break, and it did. Yeah.
Jimmy spits on him, I think partially because there's a power vacuum.
That's a good, I agree. And I think people deserve worse than being spat on for doing, like, this is like sacred space. You don't invade someone else's studio while they're in the middle of a shoot like this. It's like incredibly over the line.
Alex should, I'm not a violent person. I don't condone violence, but Cenk had every right to punch Alex. And, and then there would be live cameras revealing how much of a soft asshole Alex is. Like, probably wouldn't have fought back. Probably would have threatened to sue or something.
Would have fled.
It'd be fun.
Yeah. I got punched supplements would have been a big seller.
I am going to restore American democracy along with progressives and conservatives in this country.
All right, well, I got to tell you, I am really, really proud to be here with you. It's good to meet you in person.
I don't think
How are you guys doing?
We're doing okay.
You like all our Hillary for Prison shirts everywhere?
No, I kind of despise it.
What shirts are they?
I haven't seen any of them.
You haven't seen, oh my God, you didn't see me? I don't exist if you didn't see me.
I'm not.
That's Jimmy Dore screaming. So
yeah, also, like, I think that it's irresponsible at this point for whoever's running this, whoever is like, and Cenk himself to like, Alex is drunk. Like, I'm sure you could smell the booze on him. Like, it's silly to, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know for sure if he's drunk, do we? I mean, he was such a drunk that it's like you can be confident in saying he was. I don't know what time of day. He drunk in the morning. Yeah. Okay.
I'm certain.
Okay. You're. I wouldn't question that, but I hear you. So Ben reacted with what shirts, and then Michael Schur, Ben Mankiewicz on the left, Turner Classic Movies, also never said a positive word about the union, even though his whole career is based off union labor movies. And then Michael Schur on the right ran for Congress, but they both sort of engaged him. And then Jimmy Dore seems to be triggered. And Jimmy has more live production, like stand-up comedy environment stuff. So
he's dealt with hecklers and stuff.
Yeah, so he has instincts that are at play that aren't being on display here. So he starts screaming. This is still when he was loyal to TYT.
All right, guys. Okay. Here,
look at this. I got a new shirt for you right here. It's rape.
So now Alex Jones gets a shirt with a Bill Clinton Obama poster style with the small colors, low color count, but it says rape underneath it instead of hope.
At the time, he was paying people to interrupt Hillary rallies yelling Bill Clinton's a rapist. He paid people like if they could get video of themselves yelling that, he would pay them like $1,500 or something like that. And then also we see Leanne McAdoo in the background there.
That's who that is.
One of the that's one of his old anchors. She did the nightly news for a little while, and then she's someone who clearly never meant anything that she said on air, and is like kind of a hippie, free spirit kind of person. It seems in her real life, and she won a contest to be an on-air talent, and it happened to be at InfoWars. And so she just would go anywhere that would have hired her.
How long did she last with the company?
She was there a couple of years. She was a couple of years, but it was those big years, you know?
Yeah. Big in the invading other talk shows at the RNC years. So
yeah,
that's amazing that you know that. Okay, here we go.
It's Bill Clinton that says rape. Oh God, hide that immediately.
So
that's the big no that Roger Stone's banned.
All right, you want to take my show over? I'll take your show over.
So
okay,
Cenk's,
you know what?
Cenk's getting irritated. I turned the volume down. Cenk's getting irritated. Yanks the shirt. So is Alex Jones making his case for Trump as how Cenk described it in the lead up to this?
No, it's a very blatant publicity stuff.
Yeah. Using his already established profit lines like shirt selling, Hillary for prison, Bill Clinton rape shirt.
And it feels like the other people who are there are pretty aware of that. Like it seems like the people on either side of Cenk get like that this is not a sincere exchange of ideas.
Yes. They're very frozen, not sure what to do. It's a weird situation, and stuff like this happens fast too. You know, I don't fault Cenk for anything in terms of his reactions, because, you know, you think you got to make split decisions, and then it's all going to get picked apart later, 10 years later, by, you know, two of the smartest, handsomest men on the internet. Let's keep going.
This kind of shirt. First of all, a sick guy. Second of all,
Bill Clinton's not a rapist, folks.
No, you know who's accused in court papers.
Come on.
You know who's accused in court papers of being a rapist? Donald J. Trump. Donald Trump, Roger Stone. You know that. It's in court papers.
So he's yelling at Roger Stone. You can find other camera angles of this on the internet if you want to go down a rabbit hole, everybody, if you feel like hating yourself that much more. So you can see different angles from this whole thing. You know, one of Alex's guys went and confronted Jimmy later. We're not going to watch that today. So he's yelling at Roger Stone. Keep going here.
Oh, yeah, you're a sick dude, Roger Stone.
Hey, I want to have a rant off with you right now.
You assault me all the time. You never give me a chance to respond.
Oh, yeah, I should give you a hatchet job. A job to respond. You're a sick man, Roger Stone.
You're a liar.
Roger,
No, you're the world's biggest liar. Didn't you admit that you lied about Elliot Spitzer? Didn't you already admit that?
Do you recognize this camera guy right in the front there in the green shorts?
Yeah, that's Rob Dew.
That's
Alex's
really?
like secondhand man. I can tell from the hat.
Okay.
That's a Rob Dewey hat. Also, I can see the contours of his face.
Yeah,
he's
turns his head.
He's a piece of shit.
He's still with them?
He varyingly has been employed by them and not employed by them whenever it's legally convenient for him to be either. But he's like Alex's second in command, basically, of like, he's been around forever.
Okay.
He was their corporate representative when they had to do depositions for the Sandy Hook
I was just about to
cases.
say that.
Yeah, he sucks so much and is a total idiot. Like charisma vacuum on camera, boring. I'm not a fan.
He's having a blast though, just invading the space and taking that center stage right in the
he's
middle.
Probably drunk too. I don't know.
Yeah.
He might not be an alcoholic, but
I do remember that deposition episode you guys did. That was really interesting. Those deposition episodes were low key one of your, not better, but I mean like surprisingly good, because you're like deposition.
I'm quite proud of those.
Yeah. So a little bit more here.
About Elliot Spitzer, didn't you already admit that?
You're not afraid of him, are you? You're not afraid of him. Get him in here.
And first of all, Alex, this ain't your fucking show.
I don't know.
And Roger, it certainly ain't your fucking show.
Are you afraid to debate him?
Afraid? Are you kidding me?
So,
No.
This is the Young Turks crew trying to run, like they have a TriCaster. They're trying to produce this and cover it up. I think they come back though. So here we come. We have a graphic on screen for those just listening.
All right,
Roger, run away.
You notice that like Alex dropped the act a little bit when he also believed that they were running B-roll, or that like, let's call it to the lobby screen. He could see on the monitors that they had gone to that like coverage of and so he stopped attacking as much.
I think they turned the volume down. Is what how I picked up on that. Because if you're running that, you're gonna put the graphic up and turn the volume down.
I doubt it. I think that, well, maybe there's some of that, but
because that was a choice by someone at TYT in the room.
Yeah, but you could still hear a bit of Cenk's mic, and you couldn't hear Alex yelling. The reason that I feel that way is that there's a number of stories that I've heard over the years of people who've been around when Alex was doing his outbursts and stuff, and how when the cameras are off, it just kind of like blip. And I've also seen him at the courthouse, like when he was trying to do a press conference outside of the Sandy Hook court in Texas. And like he was doing and then as soon as he was like off, he was off. And like I think my take on this, so much of this is performative, and so much of like what he's doing now is just to exploit Cenk, and Cenk has every reason to know that.
Sure. And he
Roger, don't go.
it's just amazing. He starts just arguing
He
with
seems
Roger.
really mad though.
Yeah, he should
seems really mad.
Yeah. Probably almost as mad as when he found out his workers had started a union to stop his exploitative working conditions.
Oh, he wants to debate you right now. I'm not going to debate this guy. You're a hatchet man. I don't know why anyone in the media takes you seriously.
He is doing a decent job with mic technique, at least. He's just making sure he gets the voice into the mic.
You lie. You're known as the biggest liar in media.
Look at Alex Jones smiling, though. Look at this. Look how happy he is with himself. I just backed it up at 5 seconds. He's after the girl walks by.
I have to assume he would have gone into this thinking it wasn't going to work, you know, like, and he's happy because this is working.
Yeah. I mean, what's the best move for TYT? Cut to break immediately, or
yeah. Either that,
not
or
let it spiral. Look at Alex Jones right there. There he is.
You should never allow yourself to be in this situation. Period. Like security should have stopped him, but like, let's assume that didn't happen. Throw a break.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you hear him yelling or there's a disturbance or something, and then failing that, fight him.
Agreed. Defend your territory. You know, and there's Ben Mankiewicz cackling. He's having a fun. So
biggest liar in media. You're the biggest liar in media.
Alex puts his fingers, bunny ears behind his head. Classic, pull from the 70s.
You just slapped him on the back. You could say that that's like initiating physical contact. Now I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
He was doing that. He was kind of and really aggressively touching his shoulder.
Don't get too mad. We gotta have all right. Well, first of all, he's actually mad. You're actually really upset.
You're actually really upset.
I should have come to debate it. That's true. All right.
Now Anna steps in. She's pissed. She's fiery. She's loyal. She'll defend. You know.
All right.
Once you get out of here, Alex.
All right. We got to continue the show.
Hey, man. Nobody watches you. We know nobody watches you.
TYT
The
producer.
Arabians aren't funny enough. Your little jihad. Hey, first of all, let me explain something. All right. Okay, this is bullshit. Okay, hold on. We're against Saudi Arabia, you dumbass.
He's against Saudi Arabia. He wanted her to know because Alex had said something racist about Anna something Saudi Arabia. I don't know. So, okay. So there's more. We've gone through it plenty. Unless you want to watch more before we jump back.
No, I think I see failings on all accounts, except for Alex. Like, he did exactly what he set out to do. And I think that this is the advantage of, like, you know, far be it from me to speak highly of TYT in the present, but I think in 2016, in this moment in time, Cenk cares about something and Alex doesn't. You can see it in his face. You can see it in Rob Dew's face. They are cynical trolls rolling in shit.
Yeah.
And Cenk has to care, and that makes him the butt of the joke. And there really is no way that he was going to escape this situation once it happens.
Yeah.
And
that's well put. I agree with you. I'd actually even argue today Cenk cares about stuff, you know, and I'm the guy making the documentary about how he's a horrible boss and a liar, right?
I'm sure he does. I just I have very little awareness of, like, I don't watch his shit much. So
I think he has ideological blind spots that, you know, prevent him, like such as making the decision to bust a union while running for Congress as a guy who defends workers.
It's a dicey choice.
not the smoothest political move in history. So we will get to the point where Jimmy spits on him because we did talk about that. Let's at least get there.
We talk about that all the time. Oh, really?
Keep an eye on the left side of the frame, everybody. Jimmy will enter from that side and kind of sneak up from behind.
We talk about that all the time. You don't know shit. What do you think? The lizard people are in charge? No. Is that what you think? Hey, your pants are kicking your ass. Is that what you
anything? You're the anti-liberal and you're pissed. Bullshit. We're being nice here.
You know what I care about? I care about.
He goes, we're being nice here. So Jimmy will cite that line, we're being nice here, is what made him laugh so hard he had to spit when he was doing damage control for it.
I care about the American people.
That's funny.
Good. You're the one flipping out.
Here comes,
I'm not right.
this is chaos. Oh, it already happened. You can see it from different angles because he goes, unbelievable. And we hear Alex say that. Jimmy texted
It's chaos, but it's all bullshit. You know, like this is all avoidable.
Agreed. Yeah. But it's not like it's scripted bullshit. I mean, it's a dynamic, it's something, things are boiling over. But Jimmy texted me within a couple minutes of him. He wanted to get the video out because I was sitting around. Yeah.
Of course he did.
Yeah. So we missed the part. It was too crowded from this angle. So it didn't seem like Cenk, as Cenk described, Alex was turned up to argue for Trump, though. It certainly seems like
he was just making a point. He was there to make a point.
This is some revisionism here going on. Let's back up a little bit and start this back again with Cenk. We're nearing the end of our episode, everybody. Dan, thanks again for your generous time here. Here we go.
For sure.
This is kind of amazing because we just had the 10-year anniversary of our fight, me and Alex Jones. But remember what that fight was about. It was at the RNC. It was the night that Donald Trump was giving his acceptance speech. And Alex Jones had come onto our set to make a case that Trump was amazing and great. And we were totally wrong about Trump, right? And then we got into that kerfuffle, let's say. Okay. Now, 10 years later, I nearly wore my 25th Amendment t-shirt today. He's talking about the 25th Amendment. We didn't go to his position. He came to our position.
Well, he realized that Trump
Exactly.
Proof of correctness. TYT was always holding true to principles. Definitely not fungible.
It's like exactly what I said when I know this. Like it's so predictable. This is. It's the necessary lie that Cenk needs to tell in order for this to be the storyline. And this is such an important storyline for his sense of self and for his media positioning that there's no other way to do this. So fundamentally, he has to be lying knowingly in the moment about what happened with Alex, or he should accept that Alex did sincerely come there to make a good faith case for Donald Trump being president, and Cenk wouldn't let him. It's either Cenk's fault for what happened 10 years ago, or he's lying like an asshole now in order to facilitate the narrative that he wants to spin about how I haven't changed.
Exactly. Like in order to give himself a victory lap, he loves these, he builds the straw man, he smacks him down quickly and easily, and then he does a victory lap and brags about how correct he was all along. I've been watching him do this for years.
That's pretty gross.
Yes, it is. So there's a point here where we'll end. It's about a minute more, and then we'll wrap it up.
Is a fraud.
Yeah.
Sorry, back up 5 seconds just to hear Anna.
His position. He came to our position.
Well, he realized that Trump is a fraud.
Yeah. So now I'll give him credit. This isn't like a ha-ha, okay, we won, you lost, we were right.
Now, sorry, just Anna saying that he realized Trump is a fraud. She very much in the year and a half, 2 years before 2024 election, she was toying with, not pro-Trump, but sort of Trump excuse making.
And the notion of a fascist. Because look, if we're just gonna use fascist toward anyone we dislike, all right, then the word doesn't actually mean anything.
Okay, what do you want me to say, Anna? You want me to say wannabe dictator?
Sure, you can say wannabe dictator, but I don't even think he wants to be a dictator.
Of course he does. That's what you do when you lose an election and you go, oh, I got fake electors and I'd like to terminate the Constitution and bring out the tanks and use martial law against American citizens and shoot protesters. I mean, if that's not fascist, then I guess the word just shouldn't exist.
He doesn't really believe 2025. He didn't actually try those things. There's a few famous instances where, she was shown to be kind of exercising some sort of very clearly ideological shift in her rhetoric around Cenk, or around Trump, I mean, and then came out with something of an apology, like just a throwaway kind of, oh, by the way, because she didn't think that fascism was inbound.
By the way, guys, I was so wrong. I knew Trump was going to be bad. I didn't like, just because, when I hear the word fascist, I think of fascism is a specific ideology. So when Cenk and I got into that debate about whether or not Trump is fascist leading up to the election, there wasn't evidence to suggest that he has or believes in a fascist ideology.
How would we know that Trump was going to be fascist in his second term? It's not like there was some playbook, with some ominous name like Project 2025 written by a bunch of Trump and Vance besties that spelled it all out.
Trump has very aggressively disavowed Project 2025. There are portions of Project 2025, namely on immigration policy, that Trump does agree with and he campaigns heavily on, but associating it with the Trump campaign because some former Trump administration officials are now part of the Heritage Foundation, I think is a little bit unfair. Well, there's a lot that he doesn't agree with that's in that document and said that he won't actually pursue. And are we going to pretend like Trump read a 900-page document?
Yeah, that was a real excuse that Trump can't read. Well, guess what? Neither can the ICE Gestapo, but that's not stopping them from murdering people in the streets. The one time Anna chose to believe Trump, to hear what she wanted to hear, to soothe the mean comments online, she was deafeningly wrong. Project 2025 was the playbook.
I'm sorry, I feel guilt every single day that I didn't see this coming. I'm such an idiot. Anyway, let's get back to the show.
In 2024, she was
arguing. Oh, by the way, that
it.
market testing didn't work. We got the results back and didn't sell.
Yeah.
But let's even take a step further back. These people have every reason to fully fucking understand that Alex knew Trump was full of shit before. Pretending that he just finally realized that Trump's a liar. Come on, that's insane. This is a delusional perspective for them to be espousing, and believing it is only useful for them because it props up the sense of self that they need to believe. And that, I think, when you're going to the lengths of kind of trying to rehab Alex's image for the sake of that, you're lost. This is not good.
That's well said. Let's keep going.
You were wrong. No, for a minute there in this term, Alex Jones was still trying to defend the war and Israel and
for a minute.
Mm-hmm. All this stuff, and he was looking like a total hypocrite and utterly fraudulent. And we were pointing it out with a little bit of glee, like, what happened, Mr. The government,
the deep state,
etc. I'll take my shirt off, right? But here he is actually going back to whatever his principles are. And you could disagree with his facts and why.
Disagree with Alex's facts. Would you ever describe Alex as someone who has facts that are even...
I think if you're disagreeing, if you're disagreeing with the facts, you're missing the point. And they know that. They fucking know that.
Yeah. Or just that does he traffic in facts? He's not a big fact guy at all. He has
going back to his principles. Get the fuck out of here. That's hilarious.
That's the part.
What a bunch of fucking assholes.
Yeah.
They know better. That's the part that is infuriating about seeing a clip like this. Is like, come on. You didn't just start doing journalism. That clip with Alex barging on the set is 10 years ago. Come on. If you were new to this, I'd understand your naivete and being like, oh, you got to give it up to him sometimes. He kind of gets, fuck off. Fuck all the way off. You know what you're doing.
I agree. 5 seconds back, starting again. We're getting
actually
there.
Going back to whatever his principles are. And you could disagree with his facts, and why God have we in the past, and we will continue to, right? When it's called upon. But he did return to principles, and that is something that you have to give credit for. Saying, no, I am against big government. I am against the surveillance state. I am for America and not for other countries. Anybody who does that, I say, all right, credit where credit is due.
He also said,
here's the fucking problem. It's not coming back to your principles when you realize that accepting all of the things that you're supposed to be against, if you're accepting them when you think you will benefit from them, and then you realize oh, I am not in touch with power at all. They don't care about me. They're not going to protect me from whatever dystopia is coming. if you then like, oh, I'm not into big government, I don't like the surveillance state, that's not coming back to principles. That's not having principles.
Yeah.
Like, this is infuriating, and Cenk understands this. Like, there's no, it's just a mockery. It's a mockery of taking this seriously. And like, I think if you are happy with the police state when it's targeting other people because you think like, it's just immigrants, whatever, I don't give a shit. And then eventually you're like, oh no, I don't like the police state. I don't believe that the police state was the problem.
Right.
I don't believe you when you come back to your principles. You're retreating to this other position reveals to me that those principles weren't real because you didn't defend them at a time when it wouldn't have been advantageous for you to defend them, right? Like,
yeah,
Cenk understands that. He gets that. You're making me mad, Hank.
That's what.
I haven't been covering this stuff for a while, and it's making my blood pressure go the fuck up.
Well, take a month off, relax, play video games, chill out. For you, sorry for undoing all your good progress. And
it feels like home, but it makes me mad.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard other people who have dealt with TYT and worked within the, seen the insider tracks that I've seen as well, talk about the lack of principles and the kind of,
it makes sense with your experience too. Like it tracks with the idea of being like someone who's publicly and outwardly in favor of labor and being against a union. Like,
right.
When it's disadvantageous for you, your principle no longer exists. So I could understand why he would cynically want to pretend that this is Alex coming back to his principles, but on some level he has to know. And I don't believe that he doesn't know.
Agreed. If we're supposed to especially accept that they assign themselves the role of being such, high level, prominent insider, media personalities who've always, been there since the beginning and should be listened to. Shit, I lost the thought. I had a good one too, but there's one more here at the end. As I think of it, I think this is the wrap up.
One more thing that's going to make me mad?
Just similar to what they'd already been saying. I'll just back up 5 seconds here.
Right? So Israel is expanding the war. Netanyahu is ecstatic. And even Trump's biggest allies, people who are literally willing to fight me physically over supporting Trump, are now saying impeach him.
Yeah.
So he repeated the BS that the whole fight at the RNC was about supporting Trump.
That might have been a piece of it, but that's not what they were fighting about.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
They weren't fighting over anything real.
No. Yeah. Agreed. But the revisionism here is very clear, and the principles thing I was thinking of is like I was drawn to TYT's principles in terms of getting money out of politics and, kind of the outsider status of being a progressive in 2008, 2009. When I was a paying member in 2009, I think is when I started, moved across the country in 2013 to work there. And, I've been off and on in that environment. And then in 2018 went back there and I got a really good taste of Cenk's actual principles when he had me classified in ways that I wouldn't get benefits for full-time labor, including part-time employee while I worked 40-hour weeks. So we unionized, then a union busts. So his actual principles are in the union busting. His actual principles are revealed in the worker contracts that he makes you sign. I have a piece of paper in this room that says no benefits, no health care, nothing. That's when he had me classified as an independent contractor for a job that was previously an employee's full-time job. And the
thing that with this stuff is that like, there's a lot of moving parts to something that is like TYT or some big business or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You can understand that. And if you're classified that way and it's an oversight that gets brought to someone's attention, you can't really fault someone for like it being a betrayal of their principles before they became aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
But how you respond to that, I think, is indicative of what you really feel.
Yeah.
Because he's the host of it. He's the head of this stuff. Like, you can't really assume that he has his hands on every little thing. But,
Sure. If Hasan Piker he didn't do it like a I'm coming forward type of thing, but he'd mentioned on some shows, the guy's been talking up publicly for 35% of his literal life. But he talked about how Uncle Cenk skirted labor regulations.
And I wanted to move to Los Angeles anyway. And my uncle was like, oh, this is an opportunity for me to hire someone and skirt some serious like labor regulations because his family.
Stole ad sales commissions from him.
You're going to do Facebook.
Well, that's because your uncle was letting everybody steal your sales deals too.
That's
His
true.
uncle would like let him massage a sales deal to the last thing, then someone would swoop in and close it and take the commission.
Yeah.
And his uncle would be like, them's the break.
Took his IP because he created the
My third like final radicalizing moment, I guess, was I had this IP, this intellectual property of the show that I like built out of the for free that I did because I wanted to do it on the side. It's something I wanted, and I knew they were not gonna originally they were not gonna let me do it unless I do it for free, which is kind of lame.
And this is your uncle's company.
Yeah, it's my uncle's company. It blew up. It got very popular. And instead of giving me additional funds to be like, here, let's build out the show more. Let's give you a writer, because I did this in the supply closet, basically. I put a green screen up there and I started filming myself. They were like, oh yeah, we're going to take this IP and we're going to give it to all the other hosts so we can like make more of the same type of videos without spending any extra money. And that's when I was like, damn, I have no ownership over this. Like, I have no control over my hours. I have no control over this IP, this thing that I created, right? Like this thing that I put a lot of thought and effort into and I did for basically free. I don't control it
It
at
seems
all.
like you're describing the third-party leasing arrangement that Amazon is using right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a great segue.
So you definitely needed a union with a relative.
Oh, 100%.
No doubt.
Exactly.
I'm talking about Cenk Uygur. YTY.
I was one of the editors for The Breakdown, not the primary, but I was one of Hasan's editors. I knew him back in 2014 before he was anybody, and he would come up to me and talk about stand-up and shit. But so there's corroborating information as to whether or not Cenk was in on the weeds or not. But like you said, doesn't matter in my opinion, especially because in my case, I did ask them to fix it. I did give them an out to say like, hey, maybe this was a mistake. I've been here 7 months for zero benefits. I just took a 6-day vacation. I got paid for none of those days, even though I'm working with people who do the same job who get paid. Can you fix this? And can I get proper benefits? Instead of saying, oh, shoot, we're sorry. That would have been a frustrating experience, but my story would have been, hey, they fucked up and they fixed it when they was called out. Instead, the answer was make him a part-time. We'll call him part-time, bring him into the payroll so he's not an independent contractor. Now he's going, but I still worked 40-hour weeks. Then they hired me a third time for the same job, 12 months of full-time work without benefits. And upon the eve of the third time, I wrote, and I've posted this on Substack. It's on baldontheinside.substack.com, an email explicitly asking if I could get paid for all that time off. I made it very clear that if this was a mistake, now's your chance to make it okay. They didn't know that I was already months deep in secretly organizing a union to answer this problem. And actually, I feel like I'm a lot more free and clear to talk about this shit publicly because we had to unionize. This scenario I'm describing about myself was the core of the second attempt at unionizing, but a year before, another group of workers, well, some of the same people, but workers had tried to start a union at the Young Turks prior to that during a period when I wasn't there. So my conditions were central to the second attempt. And then Cenk goes and runs for Congress, and that's why I just made it a documentary, because it's like a crazy story to be forming a union while your boss is running for Congress, and then it turns into this union busting thing, as well as this big cover up, because he straight up denies he did union busting. He won't even admit he did union busting.
Are you a union buster?
No, I'm definitely not a union buster. So,
there's evidence that proves otherwise, though.
What evidence? All right, brother, you've had a nice run. Bye-bye.
So there was this giant miscommunication at that time as to the motivation. And so what I asked for was, hey guys, can you do a vote? And by the way, there was a couple of people that came up to us and said, hey, we didn't want this, and they're kind of bullying us, right? And I don't mean IATSE, I mean some other folks that were there at the time. And so I asked for a vote, and we got a vote, and then they won.
Then so why are people saying in our chat you're a union buster? They don't know the whole story. Like I think that's,
and I don't blame them, Jen. I don't blame them, because all they heard was from one side, and these guys saying, "Oh my God, they're union busters," etc. From that one miscommunication from like 5 years ago, right? So they don't have, most of the people saying that, they don't even realize we have a union. They don't realize that we had two different union contracts with them. They don't realize that both IATSE is perfectly happy with us. All the employees are perfectly happy with us. So I don't blame the people who've been misled. I blame the people who are misleading them.
And it's done on purpose. It's totally done on purpose.
You rejected a union at your company and fired somebody for organizing.
Yeah, that is absolutely not true. You could say that if you like.
That is true. Look it up. There's a union now, but
you could look it up to a bunch of liars.
It's interesting.
I mean, like, even just from the little bit we've watched here, there's so much dishonest framing in what he's putting forth that that's not surprising at all. I don't know what lies in the hearts of men, but I wouldn't be too surprised if he feels like he didn't do union busting. Like, maybe that's the truth he tells himself, in the same way that he needs to tell himself that Alex came on the show to talk about Trump in 2016. Like, maybe these are necessary lies that he has to tell himself, or else this whole perception collapses.
Yeah. If I had a longer arm, I would pull up the notice to employees that I like to whip out and show people that, as well as the emails Cenk wrote to the workers that on the eve of the election, like within a week of the second election that he forced, and the union busting law firms that the company hires, and the union busting tactics that they did over and over.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Like, that's the thing, is like, people can be very persuaded by their own delusions, especially certain personality types. For sure.
Yeah. And I think that in that clip that we just watched here, I think that there's another one that's important, and that is that Cenk is pretending that Alex is like agreeing with them about Israel. And that is a part of why this thing is happening and this shift is happening.
Yeah.
This is an illusion that Cenk has, that Alex has a coherent position about Israel, cares at all about anything in the real world related to this, has a coherent position about an Iran war or Trump being militaristic. Like, Cenk needs to believe that those are the reasons. Like, a coherent position is what's motivating Alex to do these things that make them into agreeing. And that on its own is delusional. So, like, there's layers upon layers of how he's trying to, like, cope with this in order to make it seem like I'm the most consistent and Alex has come to my side. And it's bullshit.
So I think
and why? What's the end goal? Now you got Alex on your side. Great.
Right.
Cool.
I could kind of see the rationale in someone who only sees these things as marketing slogans. Like that's the principle that's on display, really, is that the home of progressives, the phrase that they used for years, they tried to go with mainstream progressives briefly in their transition, and they don't really necessarily have a slogan per se right now. They have their mission statements about truth and honesty and bullshit like that. But I have come to see that the phrase home of progressives was marketing, if ever anything. I think Cenk does have some principles, and I don't think it's fair to say that he, like, if he was running for Congress and he would get in, he would immediately turn against Medicare for all, or would be against supporting some of the policies that, are advocated for by those on the left. Although they do have sponsors now that are like chapter to a company that has J.D. Vance as one of the board members or closely involved, or Vivek Ramaswamy, because all these like ruling class demons are all like their rat tails are intertwined in the background, in the way the LLCs are all folded into each other. The big scam of the society. The ruling class gets to pull their profits out of the systems. So they advertise for like that kind of stuff, and Polymarket was one of their big sponsors. They renamed the studio the Polymarket Studios, which is like a illegal gambling site that sadly has gained even more prominence in the society.
I was watching SummerSlam the other night.
That's a wrestling show?
Yeah, it's a wrestling pay-per-view.
Okay.
And I wasn't enjoying it that much. And then a commercial break happened, and there was a Polymarket commercial that was just Rick Rubin sitting there. And I got some questions about that guy. And the music in the background is Kanye. It's the Toast to the Assholes.
Okay.
The instrumental of that song. I'm like, okay, we've got a gambling website with Rick Rubin and Kanye West in 2026 that's a commercial on a wrestling pay-per-view that is like morality tales about good and evil told through physical confrontations, made by a company that is ghouls,
right,
and are working with the government. Why? I was like,
and Trump is
this is about as
Trump has a stake in that stuff. Maybe not the wrestling, but I know he does in the UFC.
Yeah, and they're the same company.
Yeah.
The TKO is the same company,
okay.
parent company of all of them.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I couldn't I was struck by the evilness of that moment. That commercial within this, like, I felt like it was kind of unacceptable that I was watching it
right
at that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. And effectively to get people to pull their phones out and just like flick money towards them. Just here's money, here's money. That is funny. Morality Tales is a really interesting. Whoa, my camera freezes. Morality Tales is a really interesting way to describe wrestling. I like that. Because it does
so much is supposed to be.
Well, it's base libidinal storytelling. Good guy, bad guy. Bad guy eventually gets what he deserves, which is justice, or and then yeah. All right, so I think this is the end here. I mean, we're at the end, but I just want to see what else there is.
So this is an amazing turn of events.
It is, and I'm glad that when it comes to these types of issues, Alex Jones has decided to go back to his principles.
I wonder if they're thinking like they could hire him or something. Like if they're getting if they're thinking money out of this.
That would surprise me.
Well,
I don't know. He's made common cause with like Dr. Phil. Cenk co-hosted the Trump State of the Union response town hall that he did with Dr. Phil on Merit TV, which is his production company.
I want to introduce someone that I have a deep respect for. He's become a good friend of mine, sometimes an adversary, and he's my co-host tonight. I'm talking about Cenk Uygur. Cenk is known for his passionate commentary, and he's built a platform, YTY. How are you doing, my friend?
Good, brother.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Now, what I admire most about Cenk is his unwavering commitment to speaking the truth.
Clearly trying to ingratiate himself with, there's more money on the right. Go ahead.
The issue that I have is that, like, I can't believe this is sincere. Like, I can't believe that Anna or Cenk would think like, Alex has come back to his principles, which are my principles, and hooray, look at this, aren't we uniting people across the aisle? I don't believe that for a fucking second. They know that Alex is a shithead alcoholic who just yells shit and talks about memes on his show. They know that. So, to me, if I hear this kind of a presentation, to me, there's a code in it that almost feels like them saying, we're open to working with you to maximize the amount of attention that we both get if you're willing to play ball. And the things that you're doing are the kind of things that we like to see in someone who's playing ball. So would you like to, it feels like an olive branch of like the attention economy, bringing together, like, we'll work with you in the future if you
work with olive branch, everything else, yes, but not hire. I'd be weird. I'd be stunned if they like brought him into some sort of deal. And Alex has got to be bigger than TYT.
Be legally impossible anyway, too.
Yeah,
probably
it'd be unusual. Maybe share a stage at some sort of convention, something like that, or they're positioning to be a part of the Tucker Carlson third party. That's probably going to be called the America First Party. They have Joe Kent on as a regular. He was just on this past, the day before or whatever, one of these days this week. Both Anna and Cenk.
Nick Fuentes won't be mad about that or capitalize on that really strongly.
Right. Yeah. I think the ultimate bit that we're getting at, or at least maybe I won't speak for you, but is that this shows how little they respect their audience. That they go ahead.
That's a great point.
Thank you.
And that weaves back to the Tim Heidecker parody of Alex. Like, one of the things that makes his parody of Alex really do work is that he does capture a little bit of the disrespect and hatred towards the audience that Alex has. And that is a great point. This is disrespectful.
I agree. I see it when Cenk does this hokey bullshit, like, we're just a big family, looking out for, we stand up for each other. It's like, bitch, I had to start a union at your company in order to go to a doctor. Okay, why don't you?
And you fought me on it at every turn.
Yeah, and then not only did you fight me, you lied to the audience about what happened. You clearly don't respect your audience enough to tell them the truth about the workers, or at least even acknowledge, even with your own bullshit spin. I honestly wish he had, because I wouldn't have had to. I might not have been so incentivized to make this fucking movie. It's taken me forever. I've had to take major breaks, and funding money has been a major issue for me as far as getting by, and managing my neurodivergence has also slowed things down. I did some work on Abby Martin's movie, Earth's Greatest Enemy. They have people, money, and fame, and ability to promote, and like it still took years for them to make that. And so documentaries take a long time, especially when you have no money and very little help. So, but this year we're pushing hard to finish it. I'm really excited to finally get to the work to do on it. I'm gonna do a bunch of the work.
I'm rooting for you. I hope you do.
It would be great. Like, my dream is that it kind of escapes containment and ends up being sort of an internet sport where people sort of just like realize, like, hey, there's actually a chance here to hold a capitalist and a union buster accountable, but just by making them tell the truth, maybe we could do that part of it. Because I got the storytelling, I got the editing, I got that part. I'm good at that shit. I even got a better microphone to re-record the voiceover. And
you experienced the travesty or whatever. Well, that's already happened.
So. It was in the middle of it. Yeah. And so it's an unusual project for various reasons, but I want to move on to other stuff. I'd love to produce other documentaries, or, I have this concept about a farmer. I want to do like a year in the life of a farm, and
as a creator and someone who puts things out, I know that feeling. And I would say that, you gotta go to go, you gotta do to do. That's my folksy.
That doesn't help me. That doesn't help me at all. Are those real plants behind you, Dan? By the way,
no, those are fake.
Okay.
I had an idea of mixing real with fake as a backdrop, and I just lost my patience for it.
A couple of standout house plants on the shelves would sell that really well.
That's what this is supposed to be. There's supposed to be a planter here.
Oh, well, that's what made me think of it. That like black tray looks like one of those like seed tray kind of planter trays. Yeah. So, all right. Well, good job, Dan. You've been wonderful. We went way longer than I booked you for, and it's been a pleasure chatting.
My cat is yelling at me, so
you've got an upset cat. Time to get some sweet time with your kitty baby. My cat died. The one that I took in, she died. I'm sorry. I gave her back to the neighbors that I stole her from, and then they told me about a week ago that the cat died. So I took the cat in for 2 years. That was expensive. I missed the cat. She was a sweetie, but something went wrong. Oh, okay. Well, that's a horrible way to end the show, everybody.
Yeah. What a bright note.
Trying to. Everybody go check out Show Me State of Mind. Of course, I think the Knowledge Fight archive, it has a long shelf life, from what I can tell. I've seen
those will go. Those aren't going away. Those will be up there.
Yeah, I've heard
as long as I can.
I've seen comments where people are like, I'm on my third listen through the whole. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. That's 3.
That's unhealthy, and I don't recommend it because there's like 1,000 episodes. That's too much.
Well, people go back and start from the beginning, and they're really quite a feather in your cap, or complimentary for people to care that much about it. So.
I have moved two minds about it because I also think like some of those early episodes are quite naive, and like I think they reflect a time when, especially me, I think definitely more so me than Jordan, but like I really did not think that all the norms could be shattered as much as they could. I thought that there would be some kind of backstop, and I feel in hindsight that some of those episodes, if people go back to the beginning, they're a little some stuff is a little embarrassing for me, but oh well.
No doubt. It's
a document of a time.
Who's not embarrassing when they're 8 weeks old, What a humiliating time of life. Pooping and peeing all over yourself.